So I want to talk to you about a guy named Savant. Now I know I normally talk about YouTubers, and technically he does have a YouTube channel, but Savant is actually an electronic artist. And he's actually my favorite musician as well. So after this video, I'll be back to exposing YouTubers again, don't worry. But for now, we gotta talk about this guy. If you like electronic music and want to check him out, here's a random list of songs that I like in no particular order, and there's many more. But I've been noticing a lot of weird things with this guy lately. First of all, he's from Norway, which right away, red flags go up because, from my understanding, Norway is a weird place. Just look at this language here. I don't even know what this says. Some of the letters aren't even real. So definitely some trust issues with Norway just in general. However, I was looking at Savant's Instagram, and I came across this image here, which looks normal at first. He's just taking a picture of himself with his cell phone. But if you look, you can see there's something up with his other hand. And it looks like a moose hand to me, and Norway is known to have moose. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to look a little further into this guy and just see what the deal is here. So I look up his personal information, and his actual name is Alexander Vinter, and he lives in Oslo, Norway. So I thought, okay, Oslo, Norway, let's look into that now. And I find that there's a Norwegian Museum of Science in Oslo, Norway. So I thought, okay, Museum of Science, let's take a look at this place. So as I'm going through the photos of this place, I come across this image here, which is in this museum, and it looks like a room from a horror movie where they would experiment on people. And if you look closely on that tray there, you can see what appears to be a severed moose ear, which I also thought was strange. So I thought, okay, this could just be a coincidence, but I'm going to dig a little deeper here. So I'm looking through Norwegian websites, and I come across their military page. Here, this is the home page for their military. And look at the middle option there. Taking a winter course, which I thought was strange. That's his last name, like I said. Like, did they mean to say taking a winter course? Because that would make sense with the image above it, but it says Vinter here. So I click on the link, and it brings me to this page here. And it says Center of Excellence, Cold Weather Operations. Surrounded by freezing temperatures and extreme weather, the Norwegian Armed Forces have experience and knowledge on how to survive and conduct military operations in cold weather. And I thought, okay, that seems weird. It's like they're building some kind of winter army or something like that can brave the elements. So what I think is happening is that Norway has some sort of insider information that a second ice age is coming, the earth is going to be covered in ice and snow, and they are training this winter military so that when that happens, they can take over the world. And guess what can survive in the winter really well? A moose. So based on the previous images and this information here, I believe that Norway is creating these hybrid human moose soldiers to take over the world once the second ice age comes. Now, I also believe this is coming sooner than we might realize because I looked further into the military, and just recently, Norway has made it mandatory for all men and women to do military service. So before 2016, it was just men that had to do mandatory military service. Now it's the women as well. So they're obviously growing their army for something that's going to be happening soon. Now, you're probably thinking, why would I take information from someone who constantly smells like sweet chili heat Doritos? And I understand why you feel that way. However, I looked further into Norway military, and this is an image that I found. Clearly, you can see here Savant doing his mandatory military time, and just look at him. So after seeing this image, I took a step back, and I looked a little bit further into that science museum that I mentioned earlier, and I came across this review from somebody who went to the science museum, but I don't think that they were from Norway. I think that they were from another country visiting Norway, and this is what they had to say. 4-star review, so pretty good. They said, took my kids there for a little day out, and they really enjoyed it. Fun and learning in one. A little hit and miss when it comes to finding your way around, but everything is interesting there. So don't worry about it. You get a map when you go in. Moose DJ is weird. And I thought, Moose DJ is weird. What does that mean? So I looked into the museum and what they had going on the day that this family was visiting. And it turns out that Savant did a live performance at this museum on that day. And because he probably assumed that most people at the museum are from Norway, that he wouldn't have to put a disguise on and he could just go as his natural self. So here's an image of that here. So clearly he's performing thinking everyone here knows what we look like, so why wear a mask? So I started looking into Savant more as a person, and I came across his merchandise page. So here that is here. And you can see he's got t-shirts and stuff like that available, and you can buy all his music on there. But if you look in the far right bottom corner of his merchandise page, there's a clickable link, and it's once again in this incoherent Norwegian language. So I'm sure he's probably thinking, okay, well, like anybody outside of Norway isn't going to click this link, obviously, because why would they? They don't even know what it says. So I clicked on the link, and it brought me to a pretty shocking page, which is right here. So this is something that you can buy off of his website. Norwegian battle antlers, They cost 14,000 krones, which I don't even know what a krone is, but it must be some kind of weird currency from that half of the world. And just look at this thing. They're obviously arming their soldiers for something, and yeah, this is pretty alarming if you ask me. So after that, I decided to do some math and see if I could find anything else out. And this is what I found. So a full-grown Norwegian moose can weigh up to 1,300 pounds. Savant put out his first album under the name Savant in 2011. If you take 2011 and subtract 1,300, it gives you 7-Eleven, as in the store chain 7-Eleven. By 1967, 7-Eleven had Slurpee machines in every location. In 1967, Sweden also switched from driving from the left side of the road onto the right side of the road. And Sweden shares a border with Norway. And what other country drives on the left side of the road? Britain. Now, Britain currently has 66 million people, and Savant was born in 1987. So if you take 1987 and subtract 66, it gives you 1921. Actress Birgitta Armin was born in 1921, and she died in 2007. If you take 2007 and add 4, which is the number of albums that Savant released in 2012, the year that the world was supposed to end, it gives you 2011 once again. And as I mentioned, 2011 is the year that he released his first album under Savant. Now that album was specifically released November 11th, 2011. And what takes place on November 11th every single year? Canadian Remembrance Day, which is the day when Canada remembers all of its troops that died in the war. So more military connection. And what is Canada also known for having? Moose. So as you can see, this guy is leaving trails of information everywhere. It's not hard to figure this out. I would just personally like to know if what I think is happening is actually happening. And if that's the case, I live in Canada. We have moose too. If there's an ice age coming, let me know, and I could probably get my country on board with this as well. I don't mind being a moose person if it means surviving the apocalypse. So just let me know. Anyways, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And thanks again to my subscribers who have been active in the comments, such as Seb M, who says, I love this channel. Subscribe or I'll pour hot sauce in my eyelids. Not necessary. I appreciate the dedication to the channel, but not necessary. And also Kimberly R, who said, get me a bag of Oreos or I'll start cutting people. Not really related to the channel at all, but I still appreciate that you're here and commenting, so thank you for that. If you guys want to help me grow the channel even further, I would love you if you shared this video or any of my other videos on your social media, and subscribe if you haven't. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.